So today marks 2 years and 1 day since Insomniac's Spider Man was released. With everything going on in the world with the pandemic, I've missed New York City a lot. This is a place I would be 5 days a week since I work in the city, and not being able to go there has been upsetting. But I knew there was one game that would fix this issue: Marvel's Spider Man. And it was here I realized two things: how accurate the map is with real life Manhattan, and that Insomniac may have created the best superhero game we have gotten to date. This is not a jab at the Batman Arkham series games. Those games are some of the best to be made, especially Arkham City, but after my 6th time playing through this Spider-Man game, I have learned that nothing is yet to top this game. I still felt the same emotions as I felt when I played it for the first time. So with all that being said, in this video we will take you on a journey explaining why it's the best superhero game to come out. We will be getting in depth, so for some reason if you haven't played this game yet or seen a playthrough, here's your spoiler warning, I guess. Like, seriously, it's been 2 years. Do I really need a spoiler warning? With all that out the way, let's get on with the video.
All units, level 4 mobilization. Location, Fisk Tower.
Fisk?
SWAT is 1084 at Fisk Tower. All units stand by. Warrant is en route.
When it comes to pacing, Insomniac killed it. Not only did they deliver one of the best openings in any game, but certainly the best to throw us into by definition an already established Spider-Man world. We aren't going through the origin story for Spider-Man, so it's only fitting that we join this version of Peter Parker when he finally gets to take down his biggest villain yet, Kingpin. Now what's so great about this opening mission is that it allows us to get excited as the player. When it comes to any superhero game, players want to feel super. This mission does just that with its set pieces, as well as sets up the narrative for the rest of the game, and in many ways sets up a 4-part story. We have the rise of the new threat known as the Demons, then a conflict to stop Mr. Negative and the Demons. Soon after he is stopped, we get the rise of the Sinister Six, then the last mission, a battle against a mentor, Dr. Octavius. We will talk about Octavius in one of the final parts of this video, but with the other 3 parts we got some great Spider-Man moments. Seeing Peter realize that Kingpin in many ways was a force of good was different and refreshing. It put a smile to my face to see a Spider-Man with 8 years of experience see that he was slightly wrong about something. He saw the lengths that the demons would go. They would bomb City Hall, and Martin Lee wanted to unleash a deadly virus to enact revenge against Norman Osborn. Now, pause. Let's talk about Norman Osborn. If you're a Spider-Man fan, you know what Norman is about. In the comics and almost all forms of media, he becomes the Green Goblin. Now, while the future is unsure about what he'll become, his greed and lust for control make him one of the most hated characters. Every issue that happens in the city is now thanks to Norman in some way. And I think that this is done in a great way, because at the end of it all, we learn what he would do to save his son, Harry.
We were so close. But I'll keep trying. I will find a cure. I will. I love you, son.
This scene shows the humanity of Norman. After a whole experience, you think he is just that power-hungry rich guy, but instead, he's a father doing everything he can to save his only son. Now all this is on top of some great moments from gameplay to create a well-balanced experience. It starts off high, then drops low to build up to another high, to a minor low, then a crazy high, and finally an emotional, crazy ending. This game always keeps you locked in for a phenomenal ride.
Is May okay?
Everyone is safe.
MJ, if it weren't for you and Miles, I would have been...
As dead as I would have been the last 8,500 times you saved me. Pretty sure I still owe you a few.
That's smart.
Hey. I'm sorry I screwed things up. It's just hard being the one who always gets saved, you know? Sometimes I want to do the saving.
I'm sorry I made you feel like you couldn't. Still partners?
Always.
Hey, so I didn't know if, you wanted sparkling or flat or spring or mountain spring, so I got one of each. Am I interrupting?
No, MJ, Ms. Watson, and I were just talking strategy.
Strategy?
That's right. The city is in danger. It needs our help.
All of our help.
All right, well, call the play, coach.
Okay. Divide and conquer. Ms. Watson, we need an anti-serum for Devil's Breath. Oscorp's developing something, but there's no way they can keep it safe from Octavius and Lee. We need to find the cure and protect it.
I'll chase down some leads.
Miles, you need to be my eyes and ears at Feast. Anything goes wrong, call me. We need to keep that place and the people there safe.
All right, you got it. What are you gonna do?
Gang at Costume Nutjobs is taking the city apart piece by piece. Time I return the favor.
All right. Hey, wait, how do I call you? I mean, do you have like a cell phone in your pockets or something?
Ms. Watson can give you my number. Good luck, team.
You have his number. Are you Spider-Man's girlfriend? That'd be so cool.
Come on, Sherlock. Show me what you got in this water smorgasbord.
One of the most important things about any story is a great protagonist. While the main one is Spider-Man, we can't forget that about MJ and Miles. Besides their lack of powers, they play an important role to Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Now, this version of Spider-Man, at first I was nervous about. Getting both Spidey and Peter right at the same time is not an easy task. And in my opinion, only recently did Marvel get this right with their latest edition of Spider-Man in the MCU. However, in this game, I think this version is my favorite right now. His jokes are both corny and hilarious. They even nail the "that's what Spidey would say," like in this simple, quick scene.
Hi, Herman.
Seriously?
Now, when we slide over to Peter Parker, we see mostly the same thing as well, but I think the key thing here is that Peter Parker is trying to finally do some good and something meaningful as Peter Parker and not Spider-Man. While he's not trying to forget about his hero life, but we see how important the work he is doing with Dr. Octavius is, this ultimately blinds him, creating his greatest foe yet. We also see him finally able to share a connection with someone who is walking a similar path, Miles Morales. He shares his pain and wants to guide him on the right path as a person, as well as we see in the very end as a Spider-Man. Now, when we slide over to MJ, we see a character who challenges both Peter and Spider-Man. She hates the hero of him, but at the same time loves what he stands for. It's important to mention that the chemistry between these two characters always puts a smile to my face. It creates some of the most heartwarming moments in the game.
Not again.
Hey, it's your crime system thingy. Looks like a residential break-in.
Charles Standish.
That sounds familiar. Oh, Oscorp CFO. Wait. You don't think this has anything to do with Lee, do you?
Sorry to cook and run.
Did you just leave your clothes on the kitchen floor?
Where do you want me to,
Just a couch is fine.
See you later?
Yeah.
Getting back on track, MJ does a job in the game of showing both Peter and Spider-Man they aren't alone. Peter has someone to put his shoulder on for support, and Spider-Man has a partner to help gather all the information for him. Now, in all, Spider-Man and Peter Parker have great relationships with all characters in the game, but MJ and Miles as well as Octavius really stand out. Now, let's talk about Dr. Otto Octavius.
Peter, I saw you as a son. I should have known you'd turn on me, just like all the others.
Turn. I've worshipped you. Your mind, your conscience, wanting to help others. The way you never gave up.
That's because men like us have a duty, a responsibility, to use our talents in the service of others. Even if they don't appreciate it, we have to do what's best for those beneath us, whether they understand it or not.
No, you're wrong! You are everything I wanted to be! You just threw it away!
Yes, of course. You're right, Peter. Oh, I see that now. The neural interface affected my mind. But I can fix it. We can fix it. Together. If you'll help me.
Do everything I can. I'll make sure you get the best help.
No! If they put me away, they'll take my arms. I'll be trapped in this useless body. Please, Peter. That wasn't me. You said you'd never abandon me. You promised. Remember? And of course, you rest easy, knowing your secret is safe with me.
You do what you think is best, Doc. It's all any of us can.
Peter?
Even when it hurts like hell.
Peter, where are you going? Peter? Peter!
It's rare in gaming to get me this emotional after a final fight, but I did, and I even cried. And yes, this is after my 6th playthrough. Insomniac built up to this one final battle with the story of Dr. Octavius. Even though we know what he would eventually become, we didn't want to see this man become a bad guy. In many ways, Peter Parker is at fault and he knows it. He let this man in front of his eyes become the villain of Dr. Octopus. Octavius was just a man trying to prove he can do some good and maybe even have one victory. Instead, the forces around him kept pushing him down over and over and over, from the incident with Norman and a young Martin Lee, to Norman stepping in and taking everything away from Octavius while he was on the verge of success, and lastly, to his own body, or better yet, his own brain failing his body. And in his most desperate hour, he plotted and planned to destroy the very thing that caused him so much pain, Norman Osborn. Now, from the player side, we see how important Octavius is to Peter. He is someone he looked up to and strives to be. The hope of creating a better tomorrow, as well as giving Peter a job despite Peter's Spidey schedule. He was the hero for Peter, but then tragically became Spider-Man's greatest enemy. This character is what makes this story such a phenomenal one. A character we know off the bat and seeing surprisingly become the main villain for Spider-Man. While this may be Spider-Man's game, in some ways it isn't his story. It's a story about the fall of Dr. Otto Octavius.
Late for work! Coming through!
Looking good, Spidey!
Hello, New York!
same old me.
I think it would be unfair to forget about the gameplay for this game. It is easily the best Spider-Man game on that front. Swinging around the city can become so fun that you forget what you were planning on doing. The combat is a great hybrid of Spider-Man's skills as a fighter, but also showing off Peter's smarts as a scientist. Fighting regular people and in some boss fights feels like you're just playing around with them. I call myself in many cases just trying different ways to beat people. It's important to mention that I was playing this on the spectacular difficulty and it was fairly easy. This isn't a bad thing either. I learned how to play Spider-Man and it takes some time to learn him, which is a great thing. And the reward is feeling truly like a superhero. Boss fights may be on the weaker side of things, but Insomniac does a great job creating emotion with each boss fight. Whether it's funny moments or serious tension, each fight delivers. When exploring the city, you have crimes to handle. While this isn't mandatory, you in most cases always go to see what's going on. Like seriously, if I saw a crime pop up, I'm heading in to stop it. It's what Spider-Man would do, and even though a lot of these may look repetitive, they didn't feel like it. That's because more often than not, you'll be using new gadgets or fighting techniques to beat your enemies. The game also benefits you from being an experienced Spider-Man. You're not wasting your time learning anything. Insomniac makes the basic gameplay loop extremely easy to pick up, then gives you a bunch of tools to see what you can come up with. Going back on web slinging, I don't think it could have been done any better. Swinging around the city feels so great it's hard to stop. As a player, there is a desire to become the best web slinger. Exploring the city with speed personally made me feel like I was Spider-Man. It's a feeling I haven't had in a long time since Spider-Man 2, the game, or Ultimate Spider-Man. Developers seem to overcomplicate Spider-Man most times, but this time around, Insomniac kept it nice and simple, letting the players add their own level of depth. All this makes me curious to see what the next part of this world is going to be with while we play Spider-Man Miles Morales. While it's not a straight up sequel to this game, I'm looking forward to see how we will be playing as that version of Spider-Man.
If he wants to kill me, you tell him to do it. Do it himself.
I'm not with the demons. I'm not with Sable. I'm a reporter. And I want to see Lee stopped. Just like you.
Watson. I've read your byline. Sable won't listen to me. She has Michaels in the Bowery. They're moving him to a new safe house tomorrow at noon. But she's totally ignoring Grand Central.
Grand Central?
The demons were talking about it when they held me. They're going there to get...
To get what, Charles? What do the demons need to get at Grand Central?
What the...
Charles!
Oh!
What the hell?
Was not a Sable guy. Definitely not a Sable guy. Sorry, Charlie.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed playing this game. It's truly something special when you could go back to a game no matter how many times you've played it and still have the same great emotions as when you first started playing the game. Single player games like this are hard to come by, but when they do come, what a great ride they can be. Let me know what you guys think about Marvel's Spider-Man. Do you guys like me think that this is the best superhero game to come out? If not, let me know what superhero game you think is the best. Next week, we're going to go over the rise of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, going in depth to show how this reboot has saved the Call of Duty franchise. If you guys want to check that out, be sure to subscribe for that video. That video should be dropping some point later on a Tuesday, as well as subscribe for any content you see on my channel. Don't forget to drop this video a like if you enjoyed, it'll be greatly appreciated. With all that being said, I hope you guys have a good one. ShadowNinja here, and I'm out.